What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of the Dark Sages Interludes. I'm your host, Chase the Dark Sage, and this show is brought to you by Beyond Beats and Culture. And basically, in this series right here, I just give you a bit of a taste of like what I love, the things that I want to talk about in hip hop, the things that are on my mind, and me basically just reminiscing all the time, it seems, on this right here, because I always have a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to my teenage years of when I was listening to music the most itself. But before we actually get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the video if you haven't already, especially if you want to check out more hip hop content, and make sure you check out the show Beyond Beats and Culture. That way you can get the actual full hip hop show that, you know, me and my cousin, my co-host, you know, we actually go back and forth a little bit. It's kind of a little bit of a debate show, but it's mostly a hip hop show where we actually do album reviews and all that type of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into today's video right here. And this video was inspired by my boy Kiko, kind of. Shout out to my boy Kiko on Twitter, because he put something to where like he was making fun of the blog era, where he was like, oh, guys are really calling the blog era the new golden age or better than the golden age. And he put like Charlie Murphy laughing from the Dave Chappelle show, which disrespectful, Kiko, but I love you, Kiko. That boy Kiko is hilarious. If y'all don't already, go ahead, follow him. If you are not sensitive, go ahead, follow him on Twitter. He has some hilarious rap slander takes itself. But he said something about the blog era, and someone on his Twitter post actually commented like, you know, like, oh, the blog era was actually really good. Like, it was a really strong era, which I fully agree with. To me, I think it's better than the golden age era. You could quote me on that. You could quote me on that. I'm not gonna say, oh, take it with a grain of salt. No. This is my full opinion. To me, this is my golden age era. So of course I'm gonna think that it's better than the golden age era itself. Now, I'm not saying that the golden age era is bad. Come on. Let's look at the blog era, guys. Come on, let's look at the blog era. But in today's video, you know, like I said, I was on that tweet and I saw this guy post like, you know, a chart of like stuff that came out in 2013, whether it be hip hop albums or mixtapes. And I was like, yo, let's actually take a walk down memory lane and actually reminisce about some of this stuff right here. So I thought, let me go ahead and bring this to the channel. You get what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and bring this to the people. Let's actually reminisce over some of the stuff that actually came out in 2013. And as you can see from this chart right here, there's hip hop albums 2013, and then there's hip hop mixtapes of 2013. Now, all the stuff, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have not heard everything here, but I've heard a good amount of the stuff here, and I do want to talk about some of the stuff here and maybe potentially have a review for it on the channel. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section down below. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these hip hop albums first of 2013. We got Long Live ASAP by A$AP Rocky. Really good debut. I really enjoyed this project myself. It came out the top of the year. I didn't even realize that. I mean, it's been so long. Like what? It's 2025, 2013, 12 years ago. This is crazy right here. Now we got a Czarface project, which I haven't heard because I never really got into Czarface back then. Now we got Lil Wayne's I Am Not a Human Being 2. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is the era of Lil Wayne, because after the Carter 4 was where I started to see the decline of Wayne. Not saying like, well, I can't say that Wayne was not being like a bad rapper at the time, but I will say that back then I overhated on Carter 4, but it definitely was showing the of Wayne, even though I know a lot of people, especially older heads, were like, that was showing you the, man, shut up. You get what I'm saying right here. This was the decline. I'm Not a Human Being. I did not like the first one. Number 2, F no. Then we got Tyler the Creator Wolf, which is a project I actually recently revisited last year, and I actually talked about it on the channel. So this is that one project by Tyler the Creator where it showed a bit more growth and maturity, and I will say that he wasn't as immature as he usually was on his previous projects himself. So I really do like this project right here. Then we got this Ghostface Killah album, which I'm not gonna lie, I never heard this one. Then we got Interlude by Kid Cudi. One of my favorite Kid Cudi albums, especially with the song Unavoidable. Oh, that's like my theme song. This is the era where Kid Cudi was in his bag before he did the speeding bullet to heaven crap. But right here, Interlude, oh, well, we had Man on the Moon 1, 2, we had Satellite Flight, cool. I'm not naming them in order, by the way. Then we had Interlude. I was on a high, and people will want to wonder, like, why don't I like Man on the Moon 3? Why do I think Man on the Moon 3 is so bad for Kid Cudi? Dude, Kid Cudi, he lost all of his essence when he was on that Man on the Moon 3. He became a regular rapper. When he was in that Intercut phase, though, I overhated it at the time, even though I loved it, but I didn't think, I was like, this ain't Man on the Moon 1 or 2. But man, looking back at it, we really had a gem right here. Then we got Snoop Lions Reincarnated. I actually listened to that one because I was like, Snoop Lion. I'm like, okay, so Snoop Dogg turned into Snoop Lion. He's gonna do the reggae thing. I really wish I did listen to it. Then we got Ghost Poet, which I haven't heard. So let's move on to J. Cole's second album, his sophomore album, Born Sinner, which is an album that I have a trouble past with. Now, the thing with this album is that I hated the album but I listened to it like almost every day. And the reason I hated it, because I had this really skewed view of it when I was in high school, because it had them huge songs from Crooked Smile to Power Trip. I hated those songs. It was overplayed on the radio. Oh my gosh, all the girls love them, which I should have been listening to more of that if all the girls loved it. You get what I'm saying? But I hated that album because of those two songs. But I loved everything else on the album. And I loved it. And I had to internalize that for all these years, especially when I had to go back through J. Cole's discography last year. And I was like, yo, I overhated this album. In fact, this is J. Cole's best body of work to date. Hey, you can't blame me for thinking that now. I've come around to Born Center, god dang it. I overhated it, I will admit it. Then we got our next album, Watching Movies with the Sound Off by Mac Miller, which is my favorite Mac Miller project. And I've said it before on the Balloons review, so make sure y'all go check that out. I'm not a huge Mac Miller fan. I've liked some projects from him. The project that put me on the Mac Miller was, I believe, like Macadelic. And this was the project where I was like, oh, okay, Mac Miller really got some right here. I actually replayed this a good amount. I love this album right here. So yeah, Mac Miller's Watching the Movies with the Sound Off. This is one of the Mac Miller projects I actually really like. Then we got Yeezus by Kanye West, and I'm not gonna lie, this was another one that I overhated. I don't know what's up with me and overhating lately. Well, not lately, back then. I definitely overhate now, but my hate now is justified because I'm an adult and I know how I feel. But then we got Yeezus by Kanye West, and I overhated this album because it took a direction from Kanye that I didn't expect, nor did I like. But actually going back to this album, revisiting it, especially within the more recent years, I've actually found myself going back to it a bit more. And while I don't hold it at the same regard as, like, you know, his college trilogy, 808s and Heartbreaks, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I don't hold it up in that same regard. This is still Kanye doing something different, being experimental, being Kanye, but you could definitely see the lyricism kind of like lowering itself to a degree, but you can see that he's still trying to move and like be innovative to a degree. So Yeezus was something that I kind of like overhated at the time, but I really do enjoy it. Well, yeah, I enjoy a good amount of it now. Then we get the next project, Freddie Gibbs, ESGN. If you guys are new to the platform, Freddie Gibbs is one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite rappers to be specific. And ESGN was a turn of like Freddie Gibbs that I liked back then, but I don't know if I really like it now, because yeah, I went to a few songs now and I have some nostalgic ties to them, but overall as a project, this is like trap gangsta Gibbs Freddie basically. And if you don't like that, if you like his more like boom bap, like I'm in my lyrical bag Freddie, you're not really gonna like this. This is definitely the loud, obnoxious, like gangsta Freddie right here, especially when him trying to make his label ESGN, Evil Seeds Grow Naturally. I liked it when I was younger because this was the booming stuff, and Freddie was that, he was a G back then. But yeah, looking back at it now, I'm not sure if I really love it. I really have to do a revisit on that one. Next project we have is Wale, The Gifted. I heard this project, I believe, when I was younger, but I wasn't really too into Wale because I thought it was corny. Because I'm like, dude, like this guy is a lover guy, like come on, man, get this guy out of here. And Wale was someone like I really didn't connect with when I was younger because he was a bit more sophisticated. He was the poetry guy. He was the poet, and I wasn't really with that back then, at least. So yeah, Wale the Gifted, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to revisit that one to see how I really feel about that, especially with me revisiting some Wale projects last year. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, I definitely overhated Wale back then. But then the next project we got is Run the Jewels, and this is a project I didn't hear when I was in high school. I heard this in the college, and I fell in love with Run the Jewels in college. So I hate that I missed out on this during 2013, but I'm kind of glad that I got to this during my college years, because I probably wouldn't have appreciated it as much as I do now if I heard it back in high school. Then our next project we got is Magna Carta, Holy Grail by Jay-Z. People claim it to be Jay-Z's worst album. I don't claim it to be his worst album. I don't think it's his worst. I kind of like this more than Volume 3, me personally. But I will say this is kind of a bit of a mess. It's not cohesive. This project doesn't feel fully thought or fleshed out, but it does definitely has some jams on there. And for me, You Know I Got It, classic. Tom Ford, classic. It has some stuff on there that he really... Getting production, I believe, from Travis Scott, to me, it was left field. I guess you could say that. That's the best way I could describe it. But yeah, there's some stuff on here where you could definitely tell it wasn't fully fleshed out, fully thought out. But then again, he already sold 1 million copies because Samsung bought 1 million copies, and it would automatically show up on your new Samsung Galaxy, whichever one they were selling at the time. So yeah, he kind of cheated with that. He went like, what, platinum within like, what, a day? Technically -1 days, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, next project we got Stranger Than Fiction by Kevin Gates. Haven't heard it. Something Else by Tech Nine. I have heard it, but I don't remember it, so I don't want to really speak on it. But I did love Tech Nine back in the blog era. 3 Chord Fold, Terrace Martin. Never heard that one. Let's keep going. Doors by Earl Sweatshirt. I liked this project back then, and this is before like Earl Sweatshirt started doing that super monotone flow that he does now that I really don't get down with. But I actually really liked Doors back when it came out, and I was like a huge Odd Future fan back then too, because they were the weird black kids. I was a weird black kid. I still kind of am a weird black kid. But yeah, I really dug like Doors by Earl. Yeah, that's an album that I definitely need to revisit, especially as I've gotten older. And I kind of want to reminisce on Earl, like with his Earl mixtape in this project right here. But next project we got A$AP Ferg, Trap Lord, and I love this project. I love this project. A$AP Ferg is one of my favorite, like, from that era right there. I hate to say that, but he is, because when I look back and think about all the stuff I listened to by A$AP Ferg, yeah, I listened to a lot of stuff by A$AP Ferg. I listened to this, Trap Lord, the one with I'm on a New Level, that album, A$AP, I believe that's what's called, Always Strive and Prosper. I listened to Still Striving. I love A$AP Ferg, and Trap Lord to me is a really good, solid debut, especially from like a right-hand man type of rapper, because this was like A$AP Rocky's right-hand man, and he definitely had a different style compared to A$AP Rocky. So I really enjoyed this. I think Trap Lord is one of those albums that kind of is like slept on a bit. I don't know, you guys let me know. But next project we have is Big Sean, Hall of Fame. This album disappointed me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, so I'm not even gonna talk about it. I already dissed it so much in my past. I might need to do a revisit of it, but I'm pretty sure my opinion has not changed that much on it. But let's go to the next project, Juicy J, Stay Trippy. Oh my gosh, I love this project as well. This is that era where Juicy J was kind of like reinventing himself, like, you know, reintroducing himself to the mainstream. And yes, Juicy J was always a mainstream rapper, but people don't know about like what he was doing in the mixtape game back then, the stuff that he was doing with Lex Luger, the stuff that he was doing in the trap game right then. Blue Dream and Lean, I gotta say, is a classic mixtape from this era right here, because to me this is like a re-breakout, a reintroduction to who Juicy J is for a bigger audience. And this album has songs like Bands to Make a Dance. It had a feature from Pimp C, a posthumous feature, obviously. The Weeknd, I believe Wiz Khalifa, because this is when he was under Wiz Khalifa's imprint. Yeah, Stay Trippy is such a good album. Like, I might have to do like an anniversary review on this or something, because I love Stay Trippy. Stay Trippy is like, it's so good. I'm sorry. But then we got Boats 2, Me Time by 2 Chainz, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not like this album as much as the first one, but I enjoyed it enough, but I have not returned to it. It didn't stick to my ribs. I don't know. You guys let me know what you thought about this right here. But this is the album that had the song, they gonna catch me fresh as heck if the feds watching, yeah. Like, I like that whole era of like Pharrell, like during the blog era. I really wasn't getting down with him like that all the time. But then we got the third project. I mean, not the third project, I see 3 right here. Then we got the next project, Self-Made Volume 3. This is one of the self-made albums where by MMG that it didn't really stick with me as well. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as like Self-Made Volume 2. So Self-Made Volume 2 had my hopes high up, and it didn't really match my expectations. So yeah, I enjoyed this album, but I never really ran back to it like I did Self-Made Volume 2, which I've been doing that a lot recently. But then we got a classic, Nothing Was the Same by Drake. Oh, if I could tell you guys a story about this album right here, and this is probably the only time, because I'm pretty sure we will do an anniversary review for this album at one point, but this is an album that I hated. And I was a Drake glazer back then. I'm a reformed like Aubrey's Angel now, but I hated this album back then. I'm like, yo, what he's doing? He's way too soft on here. He's not coming here with the jams enough. What are we doing on this album? Like, I love Tuscan Leather. I love that. But all the other stuff where he was getting emotional, deep, and like reminiscing about his past, I'm like, yo, like, what are we doing on here? Like, this isn't the Drake that I fell in love with, god dang it. But I'm not gonna lie. One day I went to the hospital. I had to have some type of not surgery, but I had to be hospitalized because I had some type of like brain disease. Y'all guys are gonna make so many jokes off of that if you guys hear this. I had a brain disease, and I was like, yo, okay, I had nothing else to do after I like got cured of it, and I had to stay in the hospital for a while. Let me re-listen to this album. I found a new love for it. Maybe that's why I didn't like it, because I had the brain disease. I don't know, but now after the brain disease went away, I started to like it. I don't know, you guys let me know. But yeah, this was like, to me, Drake's best album. I know that through you guys were love feeling. But the next project we have is The Internet, Feel Good. I didn't hear this album by The Internet. I think it was Hive Mind. I think that's what it was called. So yeah, I can't speak about this. Old by Danny Brown. I believe this one is a 2-discer, and I really enjoyed this project right here. I didn't hear it in 2013. Wait, did I hear it in 2013? No, I didn't hear it in 2013, because in 2013 I was a junior to a senior. So yeah, I didn't hear this one. I heard this one in my senior year though. Next project we have Pusha T, My Name Is My Name. I actually bought this on vinyl a few months ago. really good. Get Home Safely by Dom Kennedy. Dom Kennedy, this was when he was in his bag. Yellow Album. From the West Side with Love by Dom Kennedy. Get Home Safely, especially with him and Nib having that collab song on here. I forgot the name of it, but please make it home safe. Come on, dog. This album is so hard. I love this album. Then we got Mellow High by Mellow High, and I didn't listen to this one. But I already see Left Brain on here from Mellow Hype, so yeah. Therapy by Tech Nine. Didn't hear this one either. The Marshall Mathers LP2. I think I heard this one. I don't like Eminem. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want no Eminem stands on me. Then we got Knock Madness by Hobson. Hobson was definitely looked at as corny during this time, but the Ill Mind of Hobson, oh yeah, I was there for that. But this right here, yeah, no. Because of the Internet, Childish Gambino, Blog Era classic, hip hop classic. I don't know. Me and my boy B, my co-host, we might have to review that one day. But yeah, because of the Internet, Childish Gambino, really good album, really solid album. I revisited it last year. I don't think there's ever a year where I go without listening to this album. It's so good. 7 Days of Funk, Snoop Dogg and Dang Funk. I'm not gonna say that name right there. Haven't heard this one. Live from Space, Mac Miller and the Internet. Definitely have not heard that one. And I'm pretty sure this isn't all like the hip hop albums that came out in 2013, but this is like the ones that made this list right here. And whoever made this list, man, credit to you. If you do see this video and you want me to give you credit, I'll give you credit in the description down below. But yeah, this was all the hip hop albums, well, that are on this list for 2013. Let's go ahead and get into the mixtapes, because this is the blog era after all. First one we got up is Life Changes by Casey Veggies, who was like heavily affiliated with Odd Future in them. I don't think I heard this one though, so I'm about to skip. Wrath of Cain. Oh, I love this. Especially with Blocka. Oh my gosh, with Travis Scott. The song with Kevin Gates. Boy, I remember, shout out to my boy Taz. I remember me and my boy Taz, we used to sing that one song with Pusha T and Kevin Gates so much, dog. We used to sing it together and like joke about it when we was in class. Next project we have is the Luca Brasi Story by Kevin Gates. This is the one project that I've heard by Kevin Gates. Well, one of the projects, because I've only heard like one or two. I listened to this project. I actually liked it back then at least, but this isn't something that I really go back to now. The Underachievers by Indigoism. This is actually a project that was introduced to me by my boy Tabs, who I used to like bond with over Wrath of Cain, and I really enjoyed this. This is the blog era. This is when the Underachievers, I believe they're like an East Coast group. They fused with Pro Era, and Pro Era, I think, fused with another group, and they became like the Beast Coast or whatever. So yeah, the Underachievers, they had a really good tape. Then we got New Jet City by Currency. I heard this one. I didn't get the hype with Currency. I get it now, but I don't really like Currency like that. But I think that he's a cool rapper overall. Then we got Adrift by Harry Fraud. Haven't heard it. Good Sense by Young Roddy. Haven't heard it. King Remember the Time, baby, by Big Crit. If you guys are new to the channel, if you guys are new to this, my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers at least, is Big Crit. And this to me is one of my favorite, if not my favorite project from Big Crit. I don't think it's his best project, because I think Forever is a Mighty Long Time is that. But this right here, oh, I love this project. I remember my cousin, B, my co-host, he actually got this for me on vinyl for one of my birthdays. So shout out to you, B. Definitely cherish it, especially since it's the actual mixtape version and not the streaming version. So it has all the tracks on there with the actual production that was from the mixtape. Thank you, B. Thank you. Love you. Next project we have is Wiz Khalifa and Currency live in concert. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Wiz Khalifa and Currency together. So yeah, that wasn't for me. Then the next project we have is Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. I loved it in high school. I went back to it recently last year. I still love it. Really good project, really good mixtape by Chance. And this is the project that actually put me on the Chance. So yeah, Almost Home by Kid Ink. Kid Ink had a run back then, but when I was in high school, I don't know what happened to him now, but yeah, I didn't hear this project. Sob Stories by Action Brought to the Harry Fraud. Haven't heard this one. Stolen Youth by Vince Staples and Larry Fisherman. I heard it when I was in high school, but I don't remember it at all. And then we got Summer Nights, Joey Badass. This is the mixtape version, not the one that's on streaming. Streaming is like super stripped down. This is the mixtape version, and I haven't heard this since it first came out. But man, back then I loved it. I believe this actually has the song Unorthodox that DJ Premier produced. I could be wrong on that one, but I did love Joey Badass back then. That boy was hungry back then. All right, but next project we have Drugstore Cowboy by Burner. Haven't heard it. Red Eye by Jet Life. Haven't heard it. 10-Piece Smile by Trinidad James. You're probably looking at me like, Chase, you haven't heard these other two, but you heard this one. Yes, I heard this and I enjoyed it. Did I go back to it? No, but I enjoyed it. Then the next project we have is She Got Game by Rhapsody. Not gonna lie, didn't hear it. Then we got the next project, Lords of Flatbush, The Underachievers by, oh yeah, it's by The Underachievers. I heard this one, I enjoyed it, but I never really went back to it. Next project we have is Lil Wayne's Dedication 5 by Lil Wayne. Not for me. This is the era I did not like Lil Wayne in. Next project we have is Currency and Young Roddy's Bales. Didn't hear this one. Better Off Dead by Flatbush Zombies. Definitely enjoyed that one. I really liked Flatbush Zombies back then, especially when they was collaborating with ASAP Mob. Really enjoyed it. Then we got Internet Tape by Vic Mensa. I'm not a huge Vic Mensa fan. I think I might have heard this like once, but I never really was drawn to Vic Mensa. Next project we got is The Way I See It by CJ Fly. Haven't heard this one. Ghetto Heaven Volume 1 by Cameron. Haven't heard this one as well. Definitely was the big Cameron fan. Then the next project, to me a classic, Nipsey Hussle's Crenshaw. I have this on vinyl. RIP to Nip. I love this album. Oh, mixtape. $100 mixtape. Next project we have is Okay the Game. This is actually when I liked the game. OKE by The Game. This is when I actually liked the game, but I don't return back to this one either. To me, it's not memorable. But Game also, to me, oversaturates a lot of his discography. Next project we have is That's My Work 2 by Snoop Dogg. After that, The Stage, Currency, and Smoke DZA. I like Smoke DZA, but I didn't like Currency back then when I was in high school, so no. Next project, so I didn't hear that one. Next project is Serial Killers Volume 1, Exhibit, Be Real, and Demeric. Haven't heard this one. Blue Chips 2 by Action Bronson. I wasn't a huge Action Bronson fan, but I liked him enough to check out some of his stuff, like the one that he has, Rare Chandeliers, with Alchemist. I love that project, but this right here, haven't heard it. Then we got Delusional Thomas by Mac Miller. Not a big Mac Miller fan. Did not check this one out. And I didn't know that he made a return on Balloons, but my co-host actually like referenced it a good amount. Then we got the next, but yeah, I haven't heard it. Then we got the next project, Fresh Veggies by Casey Veggies and Rocky Fresh. I actually did used to listen to Rocky Fresh back then, but I never heard this project right here. So we got to go ahead and skip. And the last project, The Abstract and the Dragon by Busta Rhymes and Q-Tip. I gotta skip because I did not listen to that. But yeah, that was a lot that we just went through for mixtapes and albums that came out 2013. Pretty sure that isn't every single thing that we went through, but that is some of the stuff that like I just wanted to reminisce about, talk about, and get my thoughts about, and give a little bit of context to you guys of how I was introduced to it. What did I think about it, especially when it came out and when I actually kind of listened to it. This is during the blog era, like I said, my favorite era of hip hop. And I just wanted to talk about 2013 because I didn't realize how stacked 2013 really was until I looked at this right here. But yeah, overall, 2013 was a really stacked list. But you guys let me know what you thought about this down in the comment section down below. Let me know what albums you really enjoyed or loved, or mixtapes that you really enjoyed or loved from this era, or from this year, I mean, of 2013, because this year was a really stacked year and I really enjoyed it. But I can definitely see that I was overhating a bit on some of this stuff right here. But like I said, let me know what you think about this list down in the comment section down below. Credit to whoever made this. I believe this guy found it on Reddit from Twitter, and then he brought it to Twitter and I saw it and I was like, hey, this is pretty dope. But I don't know who actually made this. So like I said, if the person that made this list actually sees this video, let me know. I'll comment you down in the description down below. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this. Let me know what you think about these albums right here. And let me know, was 2013 a really good, solid year for you? Or was it like a really trash year that had nothing that was really coming out then? But yeah, like I said before, like the video, hit the subscribe button, especially if you want to see more hip hop content. This has been another episode of Dark Sage's Interlude. My name is Chase the Dark Sage. Peace.